Florida homeowners, it's not a question of if, but when the next hurricane will come. No matter what Florida weather has in store, Storm Smart has products that protect every opening of your home while improving the look, feel, and function. From durable aluminum shutters, high-impact windows and doors, to our innovative storm catcher screens, products that enhance the beauty of your home and keep your family safe. Because Smart is complete hurricane protection, and Smart is peace of mind. Call Storm Smart today for your free in-home consultation.
When your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with a Generac home standby generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by Storm Smart. Protect every opening of your home. And by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Thursday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Thursday is a big night here at ABC Action News. It is our treat night. Yes, so for the last 31 years, we have been a station here. We started back in November of '94. And our original evening crew, if you've been around a long time, you may know it was Wayne Shadegg and Drew Soysher and Brendan McLaughlin and Marty Tucker. And so they started this thing where on Thursday nights, everybody would bring something, rotating every Thursday night. I'd bring a treat, a dessert. And back in the day, it used to be a thing. Like Drew Soysher rented out a Good Humor truck one time. I mean, there was some high-end stuff. But over the years, it's kind of dropped from time to time. Wendy Ryan has tried to do her best to pick up the pieces of what was a glorious event and just try to keep it going. So, every now and again, we get people to bring veggie platters. Like, no. It's not a treat. So that is a Thursday night tradition, and so that goes on at 8 o'clock. But we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about. Got a lot of folks in here, as always. Want to do a couple of things. One, want to give a shout out. So if you guys have watched this show for a while, if you're watching on the spot 66.1 or 17 on Frontier, again, I suggest for the folks who are following on Facebook, turn us on TV, because you can watch us on a big TV. It's 66.1 OTA, so on your antenna, or 17 on Spectrum, or 23 on Frontier. And you can watch on the big screen. You'll be able to see the radar a lot better on a big screen, and then follow along on your phone or on your computer where you have, excuse me, still sick. Anytime I travel, I go on vacation, I get sick. You can watch the comments on here. Now, Richard is saying something that a lot of folks have been saying in Pinellas Park, that might they have had a small tornado. There was some damage being reported in Pinellas Park, and that is always a possibility. I mean, I'm the first to admit, as is the Weather Service. Look, sometimes our little bitty tornadoes, our little EF0s, are so difficult to see on radar, and they happen so quickly that quite often you won't get a warning because they were almost impossible to see because they were so little. And I've had a lot of reports from people in Pinellas Park that there was some damage, a lot of it smaller stuff, but still we are seeing some reports of that. And, if that continues to be the case, then maybe the Weather Service would do an investigation on it. But, yeah, I'll tell you, the coverage has been at about 60%. Let's go ahead and take and again, lots and lots of hellos. Wanda, Palm Harbor, how you doing? We've got Carol in Clearwater. We had some folks watching from overseas in England. We've got Jennifer in Bradenton. RJ saying it's raining sideways wherever RJ is. So and this has been, we got Michigan in the house with Amber. So again, if you're watching on TV and you want to ask questions, and you may want to ask questions tonight as we get into Tropics, that's the best way to do it. Let's go ahead and take a full screen of the radar here. By the way, I did want to mention one other thing. So you guys know, we talked about this yesterday. Greg had all of his times all set up on this little paper. 7:47, he had originally set up for, Tropics and then changed it to Science-y. And, his is very organized. I am the least organized person you will see. One of our viewers, Anna Maria, thought she would help me out with a timer. This came in today to the station from Amazon. I have no idea how to use this timer. I don't even know what it would do for me. I would ignore it even if the alarm went off, but I appreciate the thought. I do have a clock right here. I see the clock. But as my producers know, I have been known to, I'm just like, look, I'm going to go off the rails. It's what I do. But at the end of the day, by the end of this half hour, you should still have a solid weather synopsis and an overview of what's happening. Now, there are some people who immediately jump in who have not seen the show, and by 7:34, they're like, hey, get to the weather. Get to the weather. Here's my take on this. If I go to your house and you've got chips and salsa out and you want guac, do you tell the person, hey, where's the guac? No, you wait until that person brings out the guac. Keyboard warriors are a thing these days. We all know, and I pretty much scoff at that. I welcome your comments, but if you're like, get to the weather, that ain't gonna fly. It just ain't. You know what happens. So let's go ahead and go back to radar and see what's going on here. There is a live look at radar, and I have had a few folks in Pinellas County say, where's our rain? Look, we didn't say 100% chance of rain today, but certainly it has been some solid rain over much of the area. And look at that. For the folks 30 minutes ago in Pinellas who were saying, we haven't had any rain, where's that big rain you were talking about? Well, there are still some areas that have not seen much, right in there. But the areas, matter of fact, the one woman whose name was Karen, ironically enough, posted something on Facebook. She lived in Largo and said, where is our rain? All right, well, Karen, there is your rain, right on top of you. And lots of lightning as well. So sometimes it's a matter of patience in our world of weather that it will eventually rain. And there are some storms. This is a pattern change. This is a pattern change that is going to stick around for the next 8 days, all right? So the timing of this, and as you can see, there's some heavy rain still going on from around Gulf to Bay, right on through the northern half of Pinellas, in through Largo, in through Indian Rocks, down through Madeira. There is a hole in Pinellas Park, but Pinellas Park had some rain earlier. Again, potentially a small tornado moved through. And then you've got lots of rain out over the bay that's also moving west. Same thing across southwestern Pinellas over the Skyway. And things have ended, for the most part, areas off to the north. Let's go ahead and quickly look at Futurecast for tomorrow, because this pattern, and we got a lot to talk about, folks, including the tropics. A lot to talk about in the tropics. All right? And I will, you know me, I don't hype. But there's going to be some stuff going on over the next 10 to 14 days. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. All right. Anyway, here's a look at Futurecast. All right. The rain winds down by 11 o'clock. Right now, we're still reporting about 2,000 power outages in the Land O'Lakes area. In fact, taking a look at the outage map, about 900 power outages still in Pinellas, southern Pinellas and Pinellas Park. So we're definitely picking up, still looking at some outages out there. All right, let's talk about this, all right? And then we'll get into the tropics after the break. So this east to west pattern is locked in through next week. It makes it a lot easier to plan your day, because when we get an onshore flow off the Gulf, it could rain literally at any time in the day. It could rain in the morning, it could rain in the afternoon, it can rain in the overnights, and it does. But when you have this kind of a setup like we have, more of our classic textbook summertime pattern, we have an east to west flow or a southeast to northwest flow, and it will not rain in the morning. So your mornings are dry. So you can plan your you got to get something done outdoors. You're good in the morning, and it's cooler in the morning anyway. And you're good until about 2 o'clock. And then you start to see a few showers pop up around Oldsmar, around Safety Harbor, around the top of the bay where the Bay Breeze and the Gulf Breeze get together, all right? But after that, then once you hit 3 or 4 o'clock, the storms will pop up. There's that 2 o'clock I talked about. Tomorrow, another round of widespread storms. Now, will everybody get it? Guys, it's Florida. You know this. It could be sunny in your front yard and raining in the backyard. We have all seen it. So, look, if you don't get rain today, you're probably going to get rain tomorrow. But with this east to west flow, the storms come back toward the coast. So what we had today, we will do again tomorrow. And what we do tomorrow, we will do again on Saturday. So mostly dry, although I will tell you, in Saturday, you've got a mid-level disturbance moving through. I actually think there's a chance you might even see some rain a little bit earlier on in the day. Now, there is a Bucks game on Saturday night, so I would say the chances are rather high there will be rain at some point, whether it's the tailgating or whether it's shortly thereafter. So that, in a nutshell, is your forecast here. Let's go ahead and bump ahead. There's a little button on here. It's called the hot button, and it goes immediately to the 7-day. It's something that I have to use often when I'm doing the weather on TV because I'll get into one of these things where I'm talking about this or that, and before you know it, my producer's yelling, "Wrap!" So when I hear that wrap, I hit the hot button, and it immediately goes to the 7-day. And here is the 7-day. Notice rain chances are higher tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. By early next week, the rain chances drop back down, but the timing is the same, all late-day stuff. Tropics coming up in 90 seconds. We'll see you then. Okay, first break, one break down. Okay, Sheila is saying storm of the century north of USF. That is a bold statement, Sheila. I'll give you that. That is an attention-getting statement. And Carrie just said, break? I love you guys. Let me tell you, I depend on you guys for these break reminders, but I do have a clock right in front of me. I truly do. But as I said, I often ignore it. Let us see if the new 8 o'clock number is out yet. And it is, and we still do not have that second X yet. So, hey, we will see. But I suspect, yikes in Palm Harbor, according to Jody. Jody, and what's awesome, I can see you. You are not hidden. So that's great. Hold on, let me go ahead and look at radar again since you guys are saying yikes. Yeah, yikes. Lots of rain and lots of lightning. Okay, we'll do one more look. Am I back on TV yet? No, 25 seconds. All right. Thank you, Anna Maria, for the timer. It doesn't really do anything for me because I won't use it. Because you know me, I'm not organized enough, but I will. All right, so we're going to take one more look at radar, and then we're going to go into the tropics. All right? And we are back in 7 seconds. All right? Hold on. 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live, a live look at radar. By the way, we're getting yikes from Palm Harbor. We're getting storm of the century just north of USF. We're getting other folks saying, what the heck? You guys don't know what you're talking about. We've not had a drop of rain. You know, what are you going to do? You know me, though. I just don't take that sitting down. I mean, I respond. I do. I just respond. I mean, look, if it's valid, so be it. I'll fall on the sword. But when we say a 60% chance of rain and you don't get rain at your house, I think you should question your life choices personally. That's all I'm saying. I've said that before. Look, if you're not getting rain and everybody else is, there's something going on. You should look in the mirror. Anyway, let's go ahead and quickly go back and show radar one more time, and then we are going to talk tropics. All right, so there's the heavy rain from Newport Richey, Tarpon Springs, through Citrus Park, West Chase, Oldsmar, Safety Harbor, Dunedin, Clearwater, hey, Largo. Hey, Karen, there's your rain. Indian Rocks, Madeira, all the way down to Tierra Verde. All right, so you definitely have some rain. Okay, let's talk tropics. All right, the new numbers are out. I have not updated this map yet. Let me see if they're accurate. 10 and 60, 10 and 20. Yep, they are still accurate. So this is the 8 o'clock update. By the way, for folks who are asking, so when the Hurricane Center puts out their outlooks, they go every 6 hours, 2 p.m., 8 p.m., 2 a.m., 8 a.m., which is why I update at 2 in the morning, because it's hurricane season, and it's, I'm up anyway, so I'll go ahead and update. Advisories when there's a tropical storm or a depression or a hurricane, those are issued on the 5s and the 11s. So 5 a.m. or 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. or 11 p.m. Here is a look at two blobs that we are not the least bit concerned about. Neither one are going to impact the United States. So you might be saying, what the heck are you talking about? Why is there all this buzz about this stuff? Well, there is buzz because the models have been very aggressive on what is not shown in that map, okay? What is not shown in that map is a wave coming off of Africa, and one that the models are very bullish on development. Now, here is the Euro AI over the next 15 days. And let me be very clear about something. This is the ensemble run. So in other words, this is taking that model and tweaking it in about 50 different formulas to come up with a different solution. And that solution is anywhere from Belize to Jersey, or out to sea for that matter, several out to sea. So there is no consensus whatsoever. But when we talk about the operational runs, the ensembles, lots and lots of spaghetti strands to look at, is just a better way to look at it. Because if you look at the ensembles versus the operational, here is the operational run for the Euro. This is the GFS. Here's the Euro AI. All right, I'm going to show it to you because I just showed you what a broad spectrum it shows with the ensembles. Look at what the operational run does. The operational run brings a hurricane into Savannah on the 20th. This is actually the 22nd of August, all right? That's your operational run. Ignore this run. I'm talking about it here. I'm not posting it for people to see and not understand what it is. But my point is, it is much more realistic and more intelligent to look at these ensembles, which give you more of a realistic spread. Here's the Euro's spread, okay? Now look what the Euro does. Same thing, Belize, Texas, Florida, Cape Cod. Literally anything in the Gulf or the Atlantic. But if you were to look at the European in the operational run, look at the Euro's operational run. It brings a hurricane right into South Florida. So this is my point. Do not focus on operational runs. Do not look, there are going to be people who are going to post these on social, and it's just the way it is, and I don't even care, whatever. Let people do what they want to do. Let them do what they want to do. But what I'm telling you, my suggestion is, if you see operational runs that are 12 or 14 days out, run. Run as fast as you can if you really think that that is going to be an accurate forecast. I said this before. The GFS predicted 462 named storms last year during hurricane season. We had something like 17. So these long-range forecasts are bogus. They're impossible. They can't be done. So what we can get out of this, and I will go this far, all right? What we can get out of this is, at least if something were to develop, it'll give you a timetable, all right? And that can be at least a little bit helpful. The odds are it's going to be wrong 98% of the time. However, if something were to come to the U.S., the European says it's going to be around August the 20th. Well, the Euro says the 20th, the AI says the 22nd. So there's a little bit of a ballpark in terms of time frame, all right? Where is it going to go? Your guess is as good as mine. Look at the models. The ensembles show anywhere from literally out in the ocean, not bothering anybody, to Belize. So there is the bottom line. And what's the GFS? This is kind of an ironic twist of fate, because GFS also develops it, but keeps it out to sea. Never brings it near the Outer Banks, and then never makes landfall. So here's what you should get from this discussion when it comes to a potential developing system. It is not there yet. It is not what you're seing on the map, all right? I do think we will have an X. within 24 hours, more than likely, and something will develop and take a southerly track that potentially could become a problem for either the islands or the U.S. somewhere between late 18th, 19th to maybe the 23rd. Could just as easily curve away from the U.S. and not hit anybody. But if you were to ask me, do I think something's going to develop? I do. All right? Maybe wrong. Not going to guarantee it. But you ask for my gut, based on what I'm seeing, based on the time of the year, yeah, I think something develops. And I think it's far enough south that it's something that's going to have to be monitored. Where is it going to go from there? It's anybody's guess. We'll be back with more questions as Dennis Phillips Live continues. Okay, so I got in that break pretty good. I'm only a minute or two late. All right? So let us see, what do we have here? Look at radar again real quick, since, that is kind of happening right now. I have not had any reports again. Oh yeah, look at that rain. Yeah, look at Largo, it's still raining. I don't know, for some reason I let that stuff get under my skin. When somebody puts words in your mouth, when they say, hey, you said it was going to be a big rain. No, and they capitalize big. No, actually I didn't. But, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. 45. All right, we still have 45 seconds. Who else do we have here? Frog choker in Largo. Judy? Yes. So Mara is at Epcot. You're actually okay. So in Orlando, with this kind of a pattern, everything moving west, you should be okay. And I'm with you. Let's hope the GFS artificial singer. So are you AI? Are you real? Bahia Del Mar, how you doing? Aggie, good to see you. Yeah, Clay, it's not close enough yet. You are 100% correct. Bottom line, you are 100% correct. We have 10 seconds left, and we're going to come back out. So, and then let's go ahead and answer some questions. Thank you very much, Sandy. We are back for Dennis Phillips Live here. Another live look at radar, since we try to keep everything happening, what's happening right this second, live, real time. Wanted to give you another radar update. There it is. And the rains have moved offshore Hernando County. Still some rain in Citrus. Pinellas County. A frog, what did she call it? A frog, I know that expression too, but like a frog strangler, or so, I don't know, something like that. Repeat it on the questions. All right, anyway, there's a look. Heavy rain, Tarpon, Palm Harbor, Crystal Beach, Dunedin, Clearwater, Bel Air, Largo, Indian Rocks. Almost the entire coast of Pinellas County now picking up some very heavy rain. But the rain has ended in terms of the heavy rain across central from, Pinellas Park, Kenneth City. There's definitely some areas that are not going to see rain in Pinellas compared to the heavy areas. But there's certainly, as I said, big rain. Frog choker, that's it. Thank you, Mike. You guys are always there. You're there for me all the time. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. So we got the heavy rain tomorrow, same exact pattern, same setup. It won't rain in the same spot 2 days in a row, it never does, but same exact pattern. Saturday, Sunday, same thing. Late day, early evening rain, nothing in the morning. Lots and lots of questions here. Water main break in Brandon. Thank you, Michelle, for the update. Boy, so it looks like we are getting a, please text on your messenger. I have a question, it's private. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Here we go, Bobby Rivera. Bobby Rivera, none of that shenanigans going on. See ya. Bobby's gone. No politics, no spam, and no hitting on people. All right? That's the trio right there. No politics, no spam, no hitting on people. Okay? So there it is. Those are the rules. Let's go back to the real quick, back to the tropics. So again, GFS develops something, keeps it offshore. European develops something, operational run, brings it into Florida. Euro AI brings it into South Carolina, or actually Savannah. But those are meaningless. What isn't meaningless is looking at the ensembles. You have a large area, and what this shows us is that there's a pretty good chance of development. Now, I will tell you, the majority of these runs keep this offshore, east of the U.S. So the majority of the European runs go east, as does the GFS. The Euro AI, same thing. The majority of the runs keep this east of the U.S., but there are enough that we'll at least need to keep our eyes on it. And you know what? That's an interesting point, because as you have seen, and I got to get a break because here we go again, I'm going over, but I'm going to show you this. As we often say in the tropics, I'm going to go ahead and take this. The majority of the development in August and September, in spite of these scary colors, the reds and the oranges, look where those reds and oranges are. In August, most of them are offshore. In September, the most likely track is offshore. That doesn't mean we're not going to see them here, but it does mean that the odds are quite common that these storms develop and stay east of the U.S. More in 90 seconds. That's my third break, right? Pretty sure? I think, did I have one more break that I had to do, or did I take too many breaks? I can't even remember. Hey, well, let's call Master Control and ask him. I think that was right, though. I think I was supposed to have one more break. 2, 8, 7, there we go. Let's see. Stand by. Master may not even be there. Oh. So that was my last break, right? Beautiful, thanks. All right, bye. Yep, so I didn't hit, because I wonder what would happen if I hit the button and I didn't have a break. Would it just blow up? I don't know. All right, we're on our last 2. This show flies. Man, this show flies when there's actual weather to talk about. All right, I'm going to do one more thing. When we come back out, I'm going to show rule number 7 stuff, because a lot of people are asking where we're getting the hoodies. And because the proceeds benefit charity. So we always like to do it. No power in Riverview. Okay. I think it's going to rain at the Bucks game, Daniel. Okay, we are in 22 seconds. I need a clock closer. I do. I'm always overlooking like this, and that just doesn't work. I got to get a clock closer somehow so I can see how long the break is. All right, we are at 6 seconds. All right? So, 3, 2. We are back in our last segment, Dennis Phillips Live. Apparently no power in Riverview. Still heavy rain in Tarpon. Glad it's low tide. Charlotte, wanting to know about the lightning strikes. Yeah, there's lots and lots of rough weather still going on out there. Again, we'll be updating tomorrow. I don't think we're on TV tomorrow. I think there's a WNBA game. Wanted to quickly show, at the top of my Facebook page, people always ask, where do you have your rule number 7 stuff? Hoodies, shirts, tank tops, everything. All the proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network, Feeding Tampa Bay, local charities. So if you go to the top of my Facebook page, I just ordered 7 new hoodies. I buy them too because the proceeds benefit charity. So I've ordered all new colors, and they're going to come next week. So I'm really excited for that, because I'm wearing the same one every time. When it was just on streaming or on Facebook, I didn't care, but it's on TV now, so I at least got to change it up a little bit. So again, let's go one more look at radar. You can see it right here. Well, you see it behind me, actually. See it right behind me. Still some heavy storms winding down from central Pinellas up through the coast. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Same setup on Saturday. Mornings will be sunny. Afternoons after 3 or 4 will be stormy. If you're watching on TV, I suggest again, flip over to Facebook, watch on TV while following on Facebook. You can ask the questions, and we're going to stick on, even though TV is done in 30 seconds, we're going to continue on Facebook, and I will answer all your tropical questions. But the bottom line is 2 areas, no concern whatsoever. I think a third X will be issued in the next 24 hours, and that's when the models are hinting that there will be development, although maybe the majority try to curve it away from the U.S. Bottom line, it's just too early to know. Timing, anywhere between August 18th and August 22nd. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. As always, have a great night, and thanks for watching Dennis Phillips Live. Okay, so we are off TV and streaming. So now we can go back. Now we can tell you what we really think about the TV and the streamers. So I love the TV and the streamers. You know this. It's definitely more work keeping track of all this, but I love the fact that it's on TV now. Because some people who don't do social media, especially when a hurricane comes or we get severe weather, they're able to actually follow along live on TV as opposed to trying to follow on social. Because there are some people who just will not do Facebook, and some people will not do Instagram. And I sometimes do TikTok, but kind of, sort of. Let's go back and look at radar again real quick, and then we will just start answering some questions. So here's a look at radar. Oh yeah, the worst is over. You definitely still have, it's still coming down, but you definitely have that one area where it's not picking up much. Now it's from Feather Sound south to St. Pete. But along the coast, Largo, you know what, I gotta go back and find that woman. Where's the big rain? Well, you know what? You've had it. You've had an inch of rain, at least. Okay, so let me look at your questions now. And let me just take a wide view of the radar here. And we can just kind of, hey, there's football tonight, I think. I believe there is NFL preseason. I think the Chargers are playing. Let me see. I don't think we're carrying the game, but I think it was the Chargers. Anthony Richardson hurts his finger to start. What a bum. I drafted him last year. Former Gator. Everybody's like, oh, he's got, he's a cheat code because he's such an athlete. Actually, a lot of games going on. You got the Ravens up over the Colts, and you got the Eagles and the Bengals tied at 7. Okay, we do sports here too. If you don't know, I'm a sports guy. If I didn't have the meteorology background, I would have tried to do sports. But it's hard to get a job in sports because there's all the ex-athletes do it. So I stuck with the best route for me to make a career. But I do love sports. When I threw out the first pitch at the Rays game last Sunday, I got to do an inning on the radio and actually did color and play-by-play. That was a blast. Rick, what's going on? I'm still on. Okay. God, come on. What's up?
It's treat night, as you know.
It is treat night. We've talked about this, yes.
And my wife, normally I just go to Publix, get a couple of BOGOs. She wanted to make it, and she's been dealing with a lot. She's a teacher back at school, and she's got a brother. So I wanted to take a picture with everybody getting a treat.
Oh, okay. Are they there now?
Yeah, I'm going to do it in a minute.
Okay, let me know.
And she'd love to have you in the picture.
Yeah, I will absolutely be there. So, okay. So let me go back to your questions, guys. All right. UF quarterback would be great if he stays healthy. You are correct, Michael, but he never does because he runs. He's a big guy and he likes to, maybe he would learn to take, to slide, but. Okay, where can you buy a sweatshirt? Brianna wants to know, all right? If you go on my Facebook page, Brianna, the very top of my Facebook page, you will see a link to this. It's right at the top of my page. And it will take you to this, and then all our stuff is on here. We used to use Etsy, but they were taking too big of a cut, and that takes money out of the charity. So we're like, why would we do that? We're just gonna have it on a website where they don't take any cuts. So we've got our mugs, our tumblers, our hoodies, our racer tops, or whatever the heck those are called, our tank tops, our hats, our mouse pads. Look at them. Oh boy, look at that. We've added stuff since I've looked recently. Tote bags, all this stuff. I'm gonna have to order some more stuff. I love the hat. I have a khaki one. Well, it's not a pink one. It's this one in khaki. Think. Yeah, that's the one I have. And this is embroidered on, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back. But that's where you get it. So that's where you find the Rule 7 stuff. Okay, Stormy in Lakeland. Monica, Jensen Beach here. Bambi, how you doing? Lightning and rolling thunder in Lakeland. Can you pull up the rain totals from today? Yes, I can, Storm Chaser Johnny Weaver. I will do that. Now, these are updated every hour, so they won't be as accurate as they otherwise would be. But here is the last 6 hours. Okay? So the jackpot, obviously, for the last 6 hours has been around Lutz, 5 inches of rain. All the purple stuff, 4 inches of rain. 2, 3 inches of rain. Hey, look at the place where The woman was complaining. 2 inches, inch and a half of rain. Kenneth City, 2 inches of rain. So yeah, I'll go wide here so you can see better. So remember, the blue is 1 to 3, green is 1 inch or less. So the blue is 1 to 3, light blue is 2 to 3. So there's that. Okay. Purple. Purple. Okay. And there's your totals. Right along that sea breeze. If you remember, we showed you Futurecast last night, and there was pretty much a line that was right about here, westward. And that's about what happened. So when we had a westerly flow, the heaviest rains would be inland. When we had a westerly flow, the heaviest rain would be like around here in this area. When you have an easterly, hey, this map, oh, there we go. There you go. So that's where it would be with a westerly flow. But with an easterly flow, it's on the other side. The easterly flow is usually you draw a line about right here, and you go out to the west, anywhere out to the west. So that's kind of what we're at, and that's what we'll be again tomorrow, and that's what we'll be again on Saturday, as well as Sunday. All right? So there are your rain totals, Storm Chaser Johnny. Okay? And it is winding down quickly as it moves offshore. All right, what else do we have here? Gulfport here, nothing but nonstop thunder for the last few hours. No rain in Gulfport, at least not where Robin is. Okay? Debbie, got a break from the rain on the East Coast. Yes, you did, and you will have more of a break for the next probably 5 to 7 days. So if you're going to the parks in Orlando, you're going to be okay. Sherry wants to know about the staff cut. Sherry, that is a great question, and we did a story on that last night. I talked about it on DPL Plus, as well as the 11 o'clock news. Thanks for watching. Joking. It's joking. I know people get busy. The impacts will be negligible. All right. First of all, they're rehiring Mets at Ruskin. There might be places in the country where that budget cut's going to have an impact. It's not going to be in Florida. The loss of data is not a thing. Department of Defense has extended the ability to get the microwave data through the end of next year, and staffing will be just fine for the state of Florida for hurricane season. So you've got nothing to worry about. We will be there for you, as will, I'm reading Charlotte, as will the Hurricane Center. Would love the ponytail style baseball cap. I don't know what that means, but I will ask the powers that be if those are available. Mark, I don't know. We will see. I mean, normally she comes when there's insurance questions. So, because she's been on a couple of times. But usually it's when we talk insurance, and it's usually when we have Plus on. Now, next Wednesday, OMG, it's Wix is going to be on. That's a news flash. Next Wednesday on DPL Plus, OMG, it's Wix is going to be on. If you don't know, you need to know, because the guy is flipping hysterical. So funny. He does great videos for TikTok, for Instagram, for Facebook about Florida lifestyle. And they're so funny. What's going on here? And then he has his flip phone. It's great. He's like my favorite guy. He's my favorite person to follow on TikTok and Instagram. So he will be here. That's going to be on. That's going to be next Wednesday for DPL Plus. All right. And what else we got? So I think, yes, we have looked into the zip-up hoodie, Kelly. Yes, they are available, and they will be posted shortly, like in the next day or two, because I've had a lot of people ask about zip-up hoodies. So ask and ye shall receive. They will be there. Okay, Artificial Singer wants to know what the model runs are. We've already shown them 3 times, but I will show you one last time, and then it's time for treat night. Okay? All right, so I'm going to give you a quick overview if you're new to the game. This is what the NHC is showing. Neither of these are an issue. There will be an X, I would suspect. There will be an X painted right about here tomorrow. All right, that's kind of what my guess will be. There'll probably be an X right there. Now, let's look at the ensembles. Here is a look at the European ensembles. They are painting development, and when you see red, that's a sizable Cat 3 hurricane, Cat 4, 2 or 3. So they are showing quite a bit of development. However, if you look, well, first of all, this could also, here, hold on, let's look at something. Is that the old one or the new one? That's the new one. All right, so yeah. So you look, through day 10, nothing. Then you got this development. The majority of the European runs do curve it away from the U.S., but some do not, right? That's the Euro. Some of the operational run brings it into Florida, but again, look at where you get very few in the Caribbean. In fact, you got none pretty much in the Caribbean. This is the Euro, and most of the track goes just north of the islands and then makes a curve. But the operational run does bring it into Florida. So, if the models keep trending where the ensembles are showing, my guess is this operational run will probably end up going more like this soon and missing the U.S. But it's, look, I'll be very clear about this. I'll say this again. This is why I don't even like to get into the models, because you heard me go on a rampage yesterday saying they're wrong 98% of the time, 12 days out, 97% of the time, and they are. So I don't even like to show this stuff. But the reason I am is because you asked, and second of all, because the ensembles show a broad area, much larger potential. So when you look at the operational, which is much smaller, I mean, this is just one run, and it's probably going to be wrong, which is why I will never post a model this far out. I'll do it here. We'll chat about it because this is a conversation, and I can poo-poo it and say it's a bunch of nonsense. But the Euro AI is showing the same thing. The Euro AI has the majority of the development out here. It does have a few close to Florida and in the Gulf. And interestingly enough, the operational one is one that does bring it in. The Euro AI brings it into Savannah. But if you're just tuning in, what is this it we're talking about? It is a system that does not even exist yet. Rule number 7, it's going to be wrong. Don't worry about it. But I bring it up because it is a weather chat and because it's already everywhere on social media. And the buzz just gets louder and louder. Bottom line, 12 days out, forget about it. It's going to be wrong. Ensembles are the better way to look, which is why I will post ensembles, because they give you a kind of a broad brush overview of potential as opposed to a single spot of development, which is incredibly unlikely. Look, if it was 5 days out or 7 days out, I would absolutely show it. But there's a huge difference in accuracy from 5 to 7 days up to 12 days. It's night and day, all right? So there you go. I think that is about it. You probably heard that the Hurricane Center, NOAA, did lower their forecast just a little bit today for development for the rest of the season. They lowered the number of major hurricanes on the low end down 1, maybe 1 less hurricane, but overall, it's about the same. And you guys know my take on long-range hurricane predictions anyway. I think they're a waste of time. No disrespect to NOAA or anybody else who does it. I just think they're a waste of time. I don't think they do any good. I don't think they're helpful. In fact, in my opinion, they're not helpful. In my opinion, they're harmful. And I say why, because if you hear there's a lot of storms that are supposed to develop and that year it's wrong and we don't get any, you're going to ignore it from the rest of the day and rest of time. And the other side of the coin, if you hear there's only going to be a few storms, you might not prepare as much as if you heard there's going to be more. And if you're not prepared and a big one hits and you're like, well, they hardly said we'd get any at all. I just think it sends a mixed message, and I don't think it's worthwhile. All right? So there you go, folks. Randy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All stars go to Children's Miracle Network. Okay, so I do not want Etsy. Yeah, Whitney, I will have to change that if that's the case, because the website is Fourth Wall. That's the website that we are using. The Etsy one, we're shutting down because they take a big percentage for themselves and the money doesn't get to go to charity. So yeah, so I'll show you one more time. This is our site. It's fourth wall. And if you click on the link, I'm pretty sure it will take you to fourth wall. Just maybe there were 2 places to click. But I know there's a link on that post because I posted it. If you look at the post and scroll to the bottom of the post, you will see a link that says fourth wall. Click on that, and that will take you to this site and shop to your heart's content. Because again, proceeds benefit Feeding Tampa Bay, Children's Miracle Network, Sunshine Foundation, Red Cross, Suncoast Animal League. I mean, lots and lots of local charities. All right. So you guys have a super easy to order on Facebook. It took me no time. Good job, Lisa. Thank you. Glad it worked. Yeah, I think you're right, Mary. It just got greedy. I mean, the percentage that they take is crazy. It's like 8%. And when you're donating that's a chunk. I mean, that is. And this fourth wall site, I didn't see any cuts at all. So it's much better. All right. Yeah, I'll have to look at the shop now and get rid of that, Ryan. So I will get rid of that. No Hawaiian shirts, Ryan, as far as I know of. So, all right, guys. Well, have a good night. I don't think we're on TV tomorrow because of WNBA, I think. But we will be here on Facebook. And I don't even know about streaming. But we'll definitely be on Facebook because we'll be talking Tropics. And my guess is by tomorrow we're going to have a big old X way out in the Atlantic. And that'll give us an idea of how things go. So he flies into St. Pete on Monday. 3:30, I think you'll be okay. Think you'll be okay here. 3:30, you should be okay in St. Pete. 5 or 5:30 is probably going to be pushing a little bit. I do think coverage starts to drop a little bit on Monday, right? Through Sunday, solid coverage starts to drop on Monday. Ashley flying to Hawaii out of Tampa on the 21st. Well, you know, that one's up in the air. It depends on if that very, very small spot that the models are saying on the 21st or 20th impacts Florida, if that happens to happen. The odds are overwhelmingly in your favor that it will not happen, though. So I would not worry about it. I certainly wouldn't change any plans. Just know in about 2 weeks, there is a slight chance of some issues for us, but far more likely of something more than likely to the east and into the Atlantic. Statistically speaking, that's a better chance. All right? Have a great night, guys, and I will see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. As always, thanks for stopping by.